As we all know, it's really struck a nerve across the country. You've got this 6-year-old boy, Rodney Lynch. He's been suspended for saying "pow" and making a gesture with his finger like it was a gun. And I said, people, as I said, they're outraged about it. They're talking about how this is just political correctness gone way too far. Your reaction, though, when the family first contacted you?
Well, the mother called me the very day that he was suspended. But I want you to just picture this, okay, and,
Absolutely.
and ask yourself if you would be threatened by this kid. He weighs 41 pounds, and he's 4'1". Okay, I mean,
Hmm.
this is one of the smallest kids I've seen, and he was just playing. He has no experience with guns. He doesn't know what death is. He's never been to the ER to see the effects of a gunshot. He's just playing. That's the word he used. He was playing. And last year, when he was 5 years old in the same school, he was pushed down by a heavier, older kid. He broke his arm. He had to have an operation on his arm and have a plate inserted.
Oh my
He has to
gosh.
have a new operation on that arm next year because of the growth plate was affected. And, it's really pitiful that they would throw this kid under the bus, try to shame him, try to blame him, and instead of saying to him, well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what, if you don't point your finger at anyone between now and tomorrow, we're going to let you lead the Pledge of Allegiance.
No kidding. I mean, and here is this kid. Not only is he suspended, but they don't even call his parents before it happens.
Yeah. And, the problem is that they've done pretty much away with the physical education in the classes in the schools now. So they really need a recess or a play period where these boys especially can go out, run around, wrestle, yell, scream, throw baseballs around, whatever they want to do, and then come in and work hard. But they've done away with these. Instead, they have these young kids under a microscope, and they make them sit still for long periods. So, of course, there's going to be a little playfulness. I mean, these aren't zombies.
Hmm. Well, and the school, according to the officials there, they say this was a very, as you said, a very serious, they use the word threatening situation, and that this wasn't the first time that he did something like this and was reprimanded.
It wasn't the first time that day. It's true that he had pointed something earlier that day, but there was no weapon involved.
Hmm.
There is a regulation which say that kids can't bring weapons onto campus, and if they do, they're suspended. But there's no regulation that gives us the prohibited gestures. Does it mean that you can't put your finger across your neck because they may think you're threatening to cut them? Does it mean you can't make a fist because someone may feel you're going to knock them out? And what they did here was say that he was suspended for, quote, threatening to shoot a
Hmm.
student. And he had no gun. He just pointed his finger.
Hmm. Well, the parents apparently, as I understand, they had a meeting last night. Were you there with the school officials?
The school system has the appeal, and we want the record expunged. They need to deal with this. They need to show a little imagination in dealing with kids because after all, they're going to have this kid. He's now 6. They're going to have him for 12 years, and they need to learn how to deal with him and nurture him and teach him to grow into a worthwhile producing adult.
Hmm. Is he actually back in school now?
Yeah, he's back in school. Yeah, he's. I went to a meeting yesterday with the parents and the boy. This was supposed to be a readmittance meeting that they wouldn't let the boy in before this meeting took place. But then when we got there, they said we can't hold this meeting because the school board attorney isn't here. But they did let him in, and the appeal's under consideration now. And we're supposed to schedule this readmittance meeting, even though he's already been readmitted, for later.
And it's not surprising the reaction from the public because, here you've got this school. They do this. Do they really ever think about the impact this is going to have on this young kid from here on out? Here you have a young boy. He has a public criminal record that's going to haunt him for the rest of his life.
They weren't thinking of the child. They weren't thinking of the child. They were just thinking, oh, here's a violation of my administrative rule he's out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't go any further than that. They didn't think to ask, well, is he doing this because possibly it's some reaction to bullying in the school, as he was bullied last year when his arm was broken?
Yeah,
They
and what
didn't
did they do
think
to
of
the kid
that.
that bullied him?
Yeah, well, there's other students in the school. This kid, he weighs 41 pounds. Some of your listeners had Christmas turkeys that are bigger than him.
But, a lot of people are upset because a lot of them are saying is there any indication that you can tell that here's a school that was putting ideology ahead of common sense? Because as I understand it, Rodney was also asked about guns in his home, and his parents weren't too happy about that.
Well, I know they shouldn't have been asking about guns in the home at all, and he doesn't have any guns in the home, nor has he ever been to a shooting range. Although I don't rule that out sometime in the future, because most people end up firing a firearm sometime in their lives. And he has no intention of doing anything illegally. It's just precipitous, ideological, improper behavior on the part of these officials who have given his actions the worst possible definition.
And how is he holding up, this poor kid? He's probably
Well,
back in school, and I'm sure you got to be worried as a parent what the other kids are going to say to him.
he's sad because he's been branded and other kids are teasing him about it.
Mm-hmm.
He's sad. He's on a scale of 1 to 100, 100 being the most dangerous, like the Incredible Hulk. This kid's a .2.
Yeah, yeah. Do you see the family being forced to take legal action at this point?
Well, they're taking legal action in that they want to get the record expunged.
Right.
That's for sure. If it's not expunged, then we're going to end up in court. If the school system wants to go that, we say, bring it on.
Because I know a lot of parents probably look at this and say, what if this was my kid? I mean,
Yeah.
here's the family. They got to spend money on an attorney.
Yeah.
Boy,
Yep,
oh
they
boy.
do, and it's sad. But this lady, it's her only child. She had the child when she's in her 40s. She loves this child to pieces, and she's going to stand up for her son, because if she doesn't, who will?